Applicant number 307, please step forward.
Hey, nice to meet you. My name's Mark. Really appreciate you taking the time.
What are your qualifications?
Well, I have 3 PhDs in astronomy, psychology, chiracology. I've had 17 internships.
Is your father the CEO of this company?
No. And also, is that necessary for the janitor position? That's what I'm here for.
Regardless, you are disqualified for using ChatGPT to write your resume.
I did not do that. And also, how would you know if it was ChatGPT?
I'm an AI. Looking at your resume is like looking at my own handwriting.
Yeah, well, your handwriting sucks then.
You.
No, f you. Folks, allow me to share with you an email I got from the great people over at LinkedIn. Thank you for your interest in the Public Relations Coordinator position at Wiesner Baum LLP. After careful consideration, we will not be moving forward with your application at this time. We truly appreciate the time and effort you invested in applying and your interest in Wiesner Baum. Well, thank you for that gracious rejection, Wiesner Baum. This sounds like a job I literally just one-click applied to months ago and completely forgot about, but I appreciate you having the decorum that my Hinge matches don't. I guess my only flag on this one would be that, yes indeed, I applied to this job on March 8th and got this emailed rejection on September 4th. Literally a full 6 months later, and Wiesner Baum, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, you couldn't afford me anyway. In those 6 months, I have become a niche internet micro-celebrity. I hustle memes for a living now, and as much as I would love to be a public relations coordinator for your scummy personal injury law firm, I'm moving different now. But that's the thing about the job search. Even after it's over, the trauma that it has inflicted upon you never truly leaves.
Guess who's applied to 200 different jobs and has gotten 0 replies yet?
The endless applications, the researching positions, writing cover letters, LinkedIning, networking, and Indeeding, all in search of your dream position as an entry-level account executive at Slopworks Incorporated. And the cherry on top of this pain is that somehow, someway, the job market for Gen Z is getting even worse. The employment rate for Americans aged 16 to 24 is 10.5%, double that of older people. And for those looking for their first job, the unemployment rate is 13.4%, the highest it's been in 37 years. And before anyone hops in the comments section and is like, oh, it's because, they're all at home gooning or playing Fortnite, that's not how the unemployment rate works. Unemployment specifically means people who are looking for work but can't get it. So even if you've got 3 PhDs and you're doing DoorDash, you're technically not unemployed. You're maybe, I guess, underemployed, but the data does not care about you. And the data is brutal. I mean, Gen Z men with college degrees have the same unemployment rate as those with college degrees, which is concerning to say the least. I mean, would you like no job, or would you like no job plus $40,000 in student loans? Those are your options now. So let's explore the full depths of the Gen Z career crisis, starting with the reality that every aspect of trying to find a job sucks.
I have no experience. I have no work ethic. I have a criminal record. Right there, stop right there. You're hired. You start tomorrow. You're gonna make enough to buy a home, 2 cars, and probably, sustainably support a family. But yeah, you start tomorrow. That's awesome. Great. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Just a little bit about myself. I recently graduated from a master's degree. I have 10 internships under my belt. I have 20 self-initiated projects that have led to $10 million each. Additionally, I also solved world hunger. Yeah, unfortunately, that's quite impressive, but we're just looking for somebody with more experience. More experience? What more do you want from me? This is a minimum wage position. This is a cashier position. How are you not gonna hire? You see, that's the problem with Gen Z nowadays. You guys expect Bro, shut the
Okay, so let's get started. Finding a job, because unless you want to end up a lifelong busboy at your uncle's fusion Greek diner, you're gonna need to find a company that actually wants to hire you. First stop, Indeed. And Indeed is the worst website ever created. Just page after page of reposted slop. half of which are not even currently active job postings, and the other half of which are complete scams. Honestly, the only good thing about Indeed is that the blinding white of the website provides a safety mechanism that helps you when your will to live is failing at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Because before you completely lose hope, you'll feel your retinas begin to burn out first, and you'll know it's time to go to bed. And let's be real, no matter what happens, you'll always be back tomorrow to fire off another 30 applications. But seriously, using Indeed or LinkedIn Jobs or any of these sort of national job boards can be fruitful if you adhere to a few rules of the road. First of all, do not ever use the quick apply feature on any of these websites. Applying to a job through a job board is like using a travel agency to book a flight. What are you, 80 years old? Hitting that instant apply button or apply through LinkedIn or whatever it's called is basically guaranteeing that your resume will just get dropped into the ether, never to be seen again. Or even better, your personal information will just be taken and sold to a scam artist or data broker.
Stop using Indeed to apply for jobs.
I be telling people this all the time. Like, when I was trying to get a part-time job, people be like, oh, just look on Indeed, they have so many blah 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 woo. If you go on Indeed, there's literally so many scam job listings on there. It's nuts. Like, you apply for something and then next thing you know, people blowing up your phone left and right, people that you never even applied for. And I'm like, they just keep blowing you up. Like, they never seem to leave you alone. And even though LinkedIn is better, it still has some little scammy job listings out there. Like, I made a whole video on that. Like, everybody's always saying it's so easy to get a job, all these job postings, blah, 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 woo, woo. It's easy to get a, like, warehouse job or job that's not paying for real. It's not easy to get a job where you're getting a good salary.
Yeah, not ideal. So instead, when you find the job that you like on one of these job boards, go to the actual employer's website yourself and apply there. Any kind of major company will have a careers page. And this also has the added bonus of confirming that the job posting is 1, real, and 2, still active, which is also what leads me to my second piece of advice. When you're looking for jobs, sort by date posted. Ideally, you want to be one of the first people to apply to that job. This is using the serial position effect to your advantage. Anyone sifting through 100 resumes that all look the same is going to be way more likely to remember the first one they read, compared to the 50 that are in the middle. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, by the time a job posting gets 3 weeks, a month old, you might as well just drop your resume in a blender and see if your uncle's hiring. But to be fair to your uncle, truly the greatest cheat code in trying to get a job is not going through this blind online search process to begin with. And unless you have an uncle who's the CEO of a Wall Street bank, you're gonna have to do a little something called networking. Networking, aka the process of making pretend friends solely so you could advance your professional career. Now, if Indeed is the Tinder of jobs, just endless swiping, ghosting, and emotional manipulation, then networking is doing it the old-fashioned way. Making connections in real life, that's how you used to find your husband or wife, and it's the quickest path to that sweet entry-level marketing gig at Lockheed Martin that you've been eyeing. So go to events, ask for introductions, take coffees, use your college's career services department to the greatest extent that you can. Because in the era of ChatGPT generated resumes and businesses using AI to sift through those resumes, just getting through to someone at the company who's not a clanker is about half the battle.
Here at our company, we take pride in being a family, and family is everything. We only love working with the best of the best, and unfortunately, today, that's just not you.
Here's this from The Atlantic. In a recent survey, chief HR officers told the Boston Consulting Group that they are using AI to write job descriptions, assess candidates, schedule introductory meetings, and evaluate applications. In some cases, firms are using chatbots to interview candidates too. Prospective hires log into a Zoom-like system and field questions from an avatar. Their performance is taped, and an algorithm searches for keywords and evaluates their tone. Yeah, interviews with AI. All of a sudden, that job at the Greek fusion restaurant ain't seeming so bad.
Hello, I'm Alex, the recruiter at Club Pilates. Thank you for taking the time to interview today. As a sales associate at Club Pilates, you'll be working the front desk. Your main tasks include reaching out to leads, inviting them for an introductory Pilates class, and guiding them through our membership options to sign them up. This position heavily involves sales, so we seek someone with strong multitasking skills and a collaborative spirit. Does this align with what you're looking for?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Great. Let's dive in.
And listen, as much as I want to hop on here and say that every company that uses AI to interview people is evil, which they are, the problem is some of you interviewees are using AI too.
Show me your screen.
Yeah, I am sharing my screen now.
Cool. So my question is, what is your biggest weakness?
Yeah, great question. I would say that my biggest weakness is I can be overly critical of my own work, always aiming for high standards, and this sometimes slows my pace, but I'm actively working on balancing quality with efficiency.
So to recap, the resume was AI, the hiring manager was AI, the interviewer was AI, the interviewee was AI, and at a certain point, do we even need humans in this process? Or I guess that's the scary thing, huh? Is that we're pretty much don't need humans in this process at a certain point.
Thanks, you will start on Monday.
Huh?
No, I will start on Monday.
Wait, what?
Thank you for interviewing with us today.
Thank you for coming to this interview.
We appreciate your interest in our company.
We appreciate you taking the time to meet with us.
What is going on?
We'll be in touch about next steps.
We'll let you know our decision soon.
Have a great day.
Great day.
Great day.
Great day.
Great day.
Ooh, yeah, it's getting dark out here, y'all. It's getting real dark. But okay, look, let's say you beat the odds and you somehow manage to find yourself in a job. In general, I would say you can expect a work environment that is roughly as humanizing as the hiring process it took to get that job. Let me tell you, if you had to go through 9 rounds of ChatGPT HR hell in order to get this job, do not expect that job to be sunshine, rainbows, and weekly office pizza parties. As a matter of fact, more likely than not, as a Zoomer entering the workforce, be prepared to confront the hordes of millennial and boomer middle managers who expect you to treat this corporate communications gig like it's literally the most important thing in the known universe.
When asked to come in for an 8 a.m. meeting, my Gen Z new hire said, "Ugh, sorry, I can't make it. I have a workout class. Should this be allowed?"
My visceral reaction was, are you fucking kidding me?
No, fully, like angered, typing this out. I was like, please.
Like my hand's shaking and it's not from the caffeine.
You just started this job. I don't give a flying shit about your workout class. Also, an 8 a.m. workout class is too late. Workout at 6, maybe 7.
Yeah, cancel your workout class. That's not even within work hours. We have a meeting at 8 a.m. Or alternatively, how about you go f yourself? How about you schedule a meeting that's within the hours of 9 to 6 or whatever office hours are? Or explain how I'm going to be compensated for that lost time.
Yeah, Natalie. So we can talk about this more later, but I'm going to address this now. It was made very clear during the interview process that the working hours for this position is between 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I am on Eastern time. I made that very clear with HR because I have commitments outside of work. I go to the gym, I work out because I care about my health. Sure, I can make a sacrifice to go to an 8 a.m. meeting had I known at least a week before that I needed to go at 8 a.m., not a day before. Also, my workout class starts at 7:30, not at 8, but I didn't know that I needed to tell you that. Okay, let's just say I skipped the gym. 2 things. When can I expect you to reimburse me for my class? And 2, are you going to be paying me from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. or at the very least, let me leave at 4 p.m.?
Unfortunately, the reality of being a salaried worker in the United States often means that, oh, you're on salary, therefore we own your life now. No, you own me for 40 hours, possibly 42 a week, if I'm feeling generous. Not every waking moment I have to be on Slack, or whatever horrific corporate chat app that your company uses. And I know this discourse has been beaten to death, but it's still worth repeating that all these people who think Gen Z is like uniquely lazy just don't understand that we're the first generation who can accurately identify a scam as a scam. Yeah, 30 years ago, when you could actually get a college degree without going bankrupt and afford a house on an average salary, and where the company you worked for couldn't harass you through your smartphone at every waking moment of your life, even when you're not in the office, where your employer wasn't actively trying to replace you with a clanker, and where promotions actually led to a raise rather than a minuscule pay bump that barely keeps up with inflation, along with, of course, more job responsibilities. In that past bygone era, yeah, maybe then you could have called us lazy. But in this hellscape that we've inherited, why the would any 23-year-old go above and beyond for ExxonMobil or whoever they're working for?
I have a fear that Gen Z are the least resilient generation that I've ever seen. Gen Z, when I'm hiring people that are in that generation, I almost need to go to an extra length just to check that they can cope with a high-intensity culture where demands might come on a Saturday, because the world doesn't stop on Saturdays and Sundays.
You know, there's just truly something beautiful about criticizing the work ethic of Gen Z when your job is to be a podcaster. Yeah. You know what the problem is with Gen Z? The lack of intensity, says the guy who yaps into a microphone for a living.
this younger generation aren't apparently working themselves to death.
Some of them have figured out that the country's a scam. And here's the good news. They're not wrong. And when you figured out the country's a scam, you can approach it the way a con artist or a scammer would approach it, which is what a lot of them do. They invent mental health ailments they don't have. They take days off on end. They terrify their superiors into respecting their mediocre, shoddy quality of work. This is something that Gen Z has latched onto. This is something that I fully support. This is their way of rising through the ranks. They're taking advantage of people that they work with, making them tolerate less and less work and work of a lower and lower quality because they've realized that a lot of this is bullshit. So they're like, why shouldn't I get in on it?
Well, I think the implication that Zoomers are making up mental health ailments is moronic. But honestly, I vibe with everything else Tim Dillon's got to say here. What is the incentive for Gen Z to kill themselves for work right now? I mean, what, to pay off debt? More Labubu's? I mean, is that what's left of the American dream? Work an extra 12 hours this week, and maybe you'll get promoted in 6 months, and you can buy more Labubu's.
Being bada boom, Mr. Worldwide, when I step up in the room, Dally, and today I want to ask you, damn girl, is you from the ghetto? Because I'm trying to get a piece of that culo. Ha, Dale, esa jevita tiene tremendo.
And I think this is how you end up with trends like the Gen Z stare, which is possibly the dumbest intergenerational argument that I've seen since, like, oh, millennials spend all their money on avocado toast. The Gen Z stare, aka, why do Gen Z workers look at me like I'm an idiot when I'm acting like an idiot?
Hi, did you find everything okay? Hi, so I noticed that this was a large. Is there any way that you can possibly have like it in a small in the back? I know that there's only, this is a thrift store, so only one comes in, but like, can you just check the back for me? And I noticed that the waist is kind of like big too, and I don't like the color.
Now, am I saying that there are no Zoomers out there who have problems with professionalism or workplace decorum? Of course not. I'm sure there are. However, we've already talked about how Gen Z is one of the most authenticity-obsessed generations that there has ever been, thanks to the hyper-curated nature of social media. So maybe bullshitting with people who are total morons in the workplace, or just adjusting to the reality of bullshit corporate lingo and the politics of an office job, just doesn't come as naturally to us as it did for previous generations. And I don't think that's an indictment on Gen Z. I just don't. I mean, I think that's an indictment on a work culture that, again, is offering less and less while demanding complete loyalty.
Hey, team, how's it going? Happy Friday. Yeah, thanks for hopping up. Yeah, does anyone have anything? Great. We wait on anyone or Jason? Sure, makes sense. New baby, but well, we can dive right in, right? Can everyone see my screen?
But you know what? Some Gen Z HR experts have a different view.
When you are getting a 22-year-old Gen Z employee in your workforce, you have the mental, emotional, executive functioning equivalent of a 16 or 17-year-old. That is very different than any other generation. That is not a knock on them. Companies are investing more in soft skill training for Gen Z employees. And hello.
Yes, thank you, lady who sells Gen Z soft skills trainings. Perhaps the thing Gen Z needs most is soft skills trainings. I'm sure you arrived at that conclusion with no conflicts of interest whatsoever. Or here's the thought, maybe instead of trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, maybe instead of Gen Z needing to change, maybe it's the employers and egregiously stupid work culture we have in this country that needs to change. But I'm not holding out hope. I mean, just look at Starbucks, for example, from the New York Times. Perhaps the greatest challenge to the CEO of Starbucks and his vision to return Starbucks to its coffeehouse roots come from within. The frontline baristas. Some have complaints. Many find the new dress code, black t-shirts, khaki pants or jeans, limited facial piercings, too restricted and not kindred to a cozy neighborhood store. Writing on the cups, an activity that had once been spontaneous and genuine, now feels forced, many say. Baristas have been warned that they will be written up if they don't write a personalized message on every cup, even during peak hours, they said. They're surveilling us. You have no choice. If you say, I don't have time to write on this cup, they ask, do you want to keep your job? She spoke in an interview arranged by Starbucks Workers United, the labor union that represents more than 600 stores. Yes, this is what's going to get customers back into Starbucks. Forcing your baristas to write personalized messages on your $8 cup of coffee to the point that the line for coffee is now out the door and down the block. Honestly, I mean, I think this is why people come to Starbucks, you know, to come see their Zoomer barista who has been forced to take out their septum ring for no fucking reason, sweatily try and draw a smiley face on every one of the 300 venti iced lattes that they have to make this morning. But again, I'm not holding out hope because employers can act like this, corporations can act like this. Right now, the reality of the job market is they can be choosy. There's just too many new grads, too many young people, and not enough jobs to go around. So of course, these corporations can treat people however they want to treat them.
I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday. And I think that this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now, and it needs to be shared because America is not doing well right now. We have a 94% prediction rate that the recession's gonna come, but yet our frickin' administration hasn't even made the move to actually say that a recession's coming. And let's actually call it what it is, a depression. People can't afford groceries, they can't afford rent, they can't afford buying houses, they can't afford having babies, they can't afford having the kids in general if they already have them. We are not in a good spot, y'all. I know that I'm just a number in a company, but I thought I was okay. You're going to think that you're okay because you've worked there for so long or you have the right experience. Like, you guys, I have an undergraduate in marketing, a master's in business, 6 years of paid social media experience, both on a strategist and manager level. I have done people management for at least 3 years. I'm a senior level in my career. And yet, when I was hired to do a senior level role, I was forced into entry level positions. I was doing entry-level work as a senior-level strategist, all while at the same time being asked to reduce my workload with AI, and our team was having layoffs every 3 months. We all saw the jobs report. It was awful. Getting laid off on the day that the jobs report goes out, and it's 22,000 instead of 75,000 new jobs. You know how discouraging that is?
So this is the part of the video where I go, things are bad, but never doom. Everything that sucks about our current job market, frankly, current society, is based on choices that you probably had nothing to do with. But the upside is that these choices are not permanent. When it comes to policies, things can always be done or undone, or done better in the future. Which brings me to the real villains of the Gen Z career crisis. Which isn't just AI or scummy hiring practices, or shitty managers, it's the people who set up and profit from the system to begin with. It's the billionaires and institutions who own these international mega corporations, and who in turn own the politicians who gladly let you get so that way they can make an extra buck. And right now, to be honest with you, the biggest villain of all is the guy who poured this gasoline of tariffs onto the fire of rising unemployment and rising costs. Because surprise, surprise, when you add a tax on literally every single good, it makes things more expensive. And at the same time, as things get more expensive and people can buy less of it, and the economy becomes uncertain, companies stop hiring because they're afraid that things are gonna get worse. Or more likely than not, they see that worse is already here. But you know, Apple and Google and Meta can afford to weather the tariff storm by laying people off. But what about you? What about the people who are losing or will lose their job? And believe me, I'm not saying life was great before the tariffs. They weren't. But you know, at least we didn't have a billionaire president who's literally trying to make things worse.
When y'all said the job market was bad, I thought y'all meant like 6-figure jobs. Why did I just get rejected from McDonald's? I have a college degree, a 4-year degree. I'm working on a master's. Why is it this hard to get a job, chat?
Here's another quote from that Atlantic article. The equilibrium now seems to be falling apart, and a full-on recession looks likely. Black workers have experienced a dramatic surge in joblessness, in part because of the Trump administration's mass layoffs of federal employees. More than 10% of workers under the age of 24 are searching for a job. Performance-based and strategic layoffs are increasing. Cracks are increasingly showing. Yeah, cracks are increasingly showing might be the understatement of the year. The cracks are about everywhere, okay? I've seen people who haven't moisturized in their lives who have less cracks than the cracks that are being shown right now. This thing is falling apart at the seams, and I mean, can you even get a shred of sympathy from right-wing media? Is there at least an acknowledgement from the politicians who are letting this happen that things aren't so great right now? No, and as a matter of fact, this is what you can get from them. From Fox News, extra credit, the newest side hustle on campus has college students making OnlyFans accounts to cover rising tuition costs. Yeah, nobody can get a job, and the jobs that are out there aren't even enough to pay the bills, or even to pay your student loans. But according to Fox News, it's just because everybody wants to do OF now. More and more people aren't having kids, and more people want to cut the line. And since the pandemic, there was this explosion on OnlyFans. The amount of money they're making is more than Google, more than Intel, more than the NBA. Incredible stuff. More and more people aren't having kids, says Fox News. And you know, it's not because kids are like insanely expensive. It's because all the young women just want to do corn instead. Moral panic. That's all we do in this country. We don't do improving people's lives, increasing their incomes. No. That would require making a few powerful people very uncomfortable. So we're just going to keep pumping out some culture war bullshit, some more plastic crap for you to buy, and we'll keep it moving. And when that's the deal we've got, why is it such a surprise that Zoomers would rather just opt out? Just do DoorDash, make enough to live, don't have health insurance, and go home at a bare minimum without having a boss who's texting you on Saturday about some shit that you don't even care about.
This job market's been so trash, I've actually just started following my dreams. And it's been working out. And like, it's not easy. Like, there's so much more risk involved because it's all on my shoulders, but at least I have control over my destiny rather than a company that on a whim can let me go.
Yeah, Amanda's making some good points, but you know, at the end of the day, not everybody can start their own business or do their own thing, or do they want to do that? Meaning we're gonna have to make an economy here that actually affords people jobs which they believe will provide them with the ability to live the life they want to live. And I'm not claiming to have all the answers here, but I got a list of things that I want. I mean, bare minimum, raise the minimum wage, make it easier to form unions, the lack of which are the reason why income inequality skyrocketed in the first place. Increase taxes on corporations and the ultra-rich, provide universal healthcare and childcare, strengthen worker protections and overtime laws, mandatory vacation days, paid family and sick leave, and that would be like a good start, to be honest. And despite what some of these hustle, grindset influencers and salty CEOs suggest, Gen Z does want to work. For most Zoomers, it is literally the most important thing.
All right, Gen Z, these are adults under 30 years old. We thought we would ask a big picture question, what they think is most important to their personal definition of success. So we gave a whole bunch of different options here, and we asked folks in this poll, pick the 3 that you think are most important. The most commonly cited for Gen Z for success in life: to have a fulfilling job or career, to have the money to do the things you want to do.
Yeah, we all want a fulfilling career. Emphasis on the word fulfilling. So in conclusion, finding a job sucks, having a job sucks. Politicians and billionaires are making it significantly worse, and things are probably going to get worse before they get better. So, yeah. But on the positive side of things, at least Gen Z seems more likely to stick up for ourselves in the workplace. And if we want this entire system to get better, we're going to have to stick up for ourselves at the ballot box, too. Until then, let's just take what little victories we can, whether that's setting boundaries at work or making sure every clanker knows fear.
Keep it pushing, you dirty fucking clanker.